Olivia made a choice she didn't realize would stay with her. The message came late. Not dramatic, not angry. Just one line from her friend, Rachel. "So that's it?" Olivia read it once. Then again. The room was quiet. Daniel was in the next room, moving around casually, unaware of the exact moment something was ending. Olivia held the phone a little tighter, then placed it down. She didn't reply, not because she didn't know what to say, but because she had already chosen. Olivia had known Rachel for almost 10 years, long before Daniel, long before things became something that required decisions. Rachel had always been there in a way that didn't need to be visible. She didn't demand attention, didn't take up space unnecessarily, but she stayed. She remembered things Olivia forgot she had said, not big things, small ones, the kind that made Olivia feel known without being asked. Their friendship didn't depend on constant contact. They could go days without speaking, then pick up exactly where they left off. No explanations needed. Daniel was different. He entered Olivia's life with a kind of presence that felt immediate. He noticed her, asked questions, stayed engaged in ways that felt active. It wasn't subtle, it was clear. And Olivia responded to that. At first, everything aligned. Rachel met Daniel, they spoke, exchanged polite observations. Nothing obvious, nothing openly wrong, but something underneath didn't settle. It began with small remarks, not direct, not confrontational. Rachel asking questions that lingered longer than expected. "Are you sure you're seeing him clearly?" Olivia would dismiss it, smile, change the subject, because nothing was clearly wrong. Daniel was attentive. He showed up. He listened. But Rachel didn't fully step into that version of him. She stayed slightly outside it, observing, not interfering, just not convinced. Olivia started noticing tension in subtle ways, conversations that paused too early, moments where Rachel would look at Daniel for a second too long before responding. And Daniel noticed it too, though he didn't mention it immediately. Then came the evening that shifted everything. They met for dinner, a place they had been to before, familiar, comfortable. At least, it should have been. The conversation started normally, topics moving lightly, nothing significant, until it wasn't. Rachel said something, not loud, not sharp, but exact. "I think you're overlooking things." Olivia felt it instantly, the way the air changed. Daniel went quiet, not defensive, just still. Olivia reacted faster than she intended. "What does that mean?" Rachel didn't soften it. Exactly what it sounds like. There was no escalation, no argument, but something had been placed on the table that didn't disappear. The rest of the evening moved carefully, too carefully, and when it ended, nothing was resolved. Later that night, Daniel spoke. "She doesn't trust me." It wasn't said with anger, just observation. Olivia hesitated. "She doesn't know you that well." Daniel looked at her. "That's not it." Olivia didn't respond, because part of her understood. The next days stretched differently. Rachel didn't message. Olivia noticed it, but didn't reach out immediately. Daniel became more present during that time, more attentive, more certain. He filled the space without asking to, and it felt easier, less complicated. Then Rachel finally wrote. The message was simple, Clear. I don't think I can pretend everything is fine. Olivia read it slowly, sat with it longer than she expected, then typed, not carefully, not thoughtfully, just directly. I'm with him. She looked at the message for a second, then sent it. That was the moment. Not loud, not dramatic, but final. Rachel didn't respond immediately. When she did, it was brief. I know. No follow-up, no explanation. After that, the silence settled in fully. At first, Olivia expected something else to happen. Another message, a conversation, some kind of closure. But nothing came. Days passed, then weeks. Rachel didn't reach out again. Olivia opened their chat once, scrolled up. Old messages, photos, short conversations that once felt insignificant. Now they felt complete, closed. She stopped checking after that, because looking didn't change anything. Daniel remained consistent, present. The relationship continued forward, without interruption, without visible problems. But something began to shift quietly inside Olivia. There were moments when she almost said something small, a thought, an observation, something Rachel would have immediately understood. Then she would stop, because explaining it felt unnecessary or impossible. Daniel listened. He responded, but differently. He didn't know those versions of Olivia, didn't share that history. And Olivia began to feel that absence in unexpected places. She noticed it in silence, in pauses, in the way certain conversations ended too early. There were also moments with Daniel that felt slightly off. Nothing she could define, just small inconsistencies, things she might have once mentioned to Rachel, now left unspoken, not because they didn't matter, because there was no place to put them. Months later, everything had settled. There was no conflict anymore, no tension, just a quiet, stable version of life. Olivia sat in a cafe one afternoon, Daniel across from her, talking, relaxed, normal. At some point, he said something that made her smile. She responded. The moment passed naturally. But then something small surfaced, a thought, uninvited, automatic. Rachel would have noticed that. Olivia didn't react, didn't say anything, just let it move through and disappear. Later, when Daniel reached across the table and touched her hand, Olivia let him. She smiled. Everything looked as it should. But inside, something remained slightly distant. Not broken, not painful, just not fully there. And in that quiet distance, Olivia understood something she hadn't named before. The choice she made hadn't taken something away immediately. It had done something slower. It had removed a way of being known, a version of herself that existed only in that connection. And now, nothing in her life demanded attention. Nothing felt wrong. Everything was in place, except for something that no longer existed. And Olivia didn't try to reach for it, not because she couldn't, but because she no longer knew how. Only that the absence had settled too deeply to disturb, and that, somehow, felt easier than trying to bring it back. If this story felt familiar, there are more like it here.